Hello. Hello, madam. I'm filming. Yeah, I am filming. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That is a good kiss. Are you, okay. Oh, are you gonna sit here while I talk to the camera? Are you gonna? Okay. Oh, you're good, baby. I'm filming Crafty. Oh. Okay. Well, hello there, everyone. My name is Amy. This is the Opinionated Woman, and welcome to the last episode of Crafty Reads for 2023. Can you believe it? This is book 91 to 95. So the last one, because obviously I'm aiming to hit 100. My last Crafty Reads to wrap up the last of my 2023 reads will be at the beginning of 2024. But for now, we are here. We're filming the last one for 2023, and it feels absolutely wild. I have good feelings for 2024, and I don't know if that's just because I like the number 2, and 2 times 2 is 4, and I like that. I'm autistic, did you know? Anyway, today for this Crafty Reads, the series where I talk about the last 5 books that I read and I craft something, we're working on my scrap yarn blanket. So first of all, I had this basket that I made, and it was really like curled in, and I didn't know what I'd done wrong, but I used it anyway. And then someone on TikTok was like, have you tried turning your pieces inside out? Like, they didn't say it to me, they said it in their video, and I was like, wait a second. So I turned it inside out, and now it's stiff and holds its shape. Oh my God. So all of these granny squares in here are going to make a blanket. I've been making granny squares with every color of yarn that I buy. I've been making a granny square, and now what I want to do so that the joining will be nice, I'm going to do, where's my chunky boy? Oh no, wait a second. Okay. I got my chunky boy. So what I'm gonna do is do a black, I think I'm gonna do half double crochet, because then when they join together it'll be like quite a nice divide between all of the squares. So I'm just gonna go all the way around these squares with some black, and I'm gonna chat to you about some books, so let's get to it. Okay, so these first 2 books I actually did a reading vlog about, like it was my video from last week, so if you want to go check it out, it's over there. I'd basically been to the Sea Point Library to return my last set of library books, and the Lesbianas Guide to Catholic School, which is the first book that I read, caught my eye, and I was like, I can't leave it here. So I was like, okay, I'll be getting some more library books then, which I mean is not the worst thing in the world. So I got that, and the next one that I'll be talking about. So the Lesbianas Guide to Catholic School follows Yamile Flores. She's a Mexican American. Oh no, I did it wrong. She's a Mexican American, and her brother are just about to start at this very like predominantly white Catholic school. They both need a fresh start. Caesar is always in trouble, and Yamile was, unbeknownst to her family, outed by her best friend in her previous school. So she's like, you know what, I'm going to get out. I'm not going to be freaking gay. And it's so funny, the beginning parts of this, like the way that it actually starts off, like if you want to see exactly like those lines, the way that it begins, it's in that reading vlog. But it starts off with so much humor, and I was like, oh, I'm in this. So she's determined to go to this Catholic school and just be closeted and not be gay. And she's like being tempted by girls calling her cute, and she's like, can they stop that? Like, I only have so much self-control, especially when she sees this girl called Bo, who is very outwardly gay and has a very nice bottom. So it's very much a coming of age, coming out story, but it's not like a stereotypical one. Like, maybe some of the things that I'm saying make it sound stereotypical, but it's really not. It's really like one of the more unique coming of age stories that I've read. Because Yamile is not just socially wanting to stay in the closet, she very much thinks she has to, because she thinks her mom will chuck her out if she finds out that she's queer, because her mom is very religious. So she's terrified because she loves her mom. And she has a dad that's in Mexico. He got deported. And she's pretty sure that he'll accept her, but she's really not sure about her mom. And things just go, like, not the way that I expected, like, in the slightest. And what I think gives this book so much depth is how well written the side characters are. Yamile is great. She's wonderful. She's got a very clear voice. But the other side characters, like, some books really suffer from side characters feeling like they're just there to further the plot for the main character. But in this book, they're so well thought out and they're so well structured. Like, Caesar is such a wonderful character. Like, you love him from the very beginning. And there's this guy that she makes friends with at school who is like this golden retriever, like slightly himbo type of guy. He's so cute. And even though he doesn't make that much of an impact in the story, like, he's just a really adorable character, and you get so much of an idea of all of them, and you manage to root for and hate all these people so vehemently because the authors, like, brought them to life so wonderfully. Sonora Reyes, did I say that Sonora Reyes wrote this? Sonora Reyes wrote this book, and they're non-binary, and I'm always looking for new non-binary authors to check out, and I think this was their debut, and it's freaking killer. So I highly recommend this book. This is probably going to be making it into my best books of the year video, for sure. Then I read the second book that I got from the library. As you can see, I returned them to the library, so I can't show you. But I read Juliet Takes a Breath by Gabby Rivera. This is following a Puerto Rican lesbian. She's 19, so this is sort of YA. She's 19, so she's on the cusp of YA and like new adult. But Juliet has basically read this feminist book. This is set in like the 2000s, so at the height of like white feminism, you know. But Yamile has read this book by this woman called Harlow. Something about pussy power. I can't remember what the book's name is. But she's been so like taken aback by this book and like her first view into feminism that she gets hold of Harlow and she's like, I really want to work with you. And she was like, okay, you can come for your internship. So before she leaves New York, she decides she's going to come out to her family. She's already got a long distance girlfriend. And she decides to come out to her family like literally the day before she leaves, which is causing some drama. It's not much of a, like, they don't like chuck her out kind of thing, but they think it's a phase sort of thing. But like, she's definitely a raging dyke. So she ends up going to Portland. And what I found interesting was that the lessons that she started learning were not really from Harlow. It was from the people of color, like the woman of color in Harlow's circle, because Harlow is white and she's very clearly white. And because this is set in like 2003, the feminism is so white feminism and very much like because the book is like called Pussy Power or something, it's very much linking that anatomy, like those genitalia, to womanhood, which is very trans exclusionary. So that is what these people were starting to teach Juliet, and she starts to have these like massive epiphanies, and she's just learning about her history and other Puerto Rican queer women and all of that kind of thing. And she's also having some entanglements when it comes to relationships. But I just felt like this was such a wonderful, like, true coming of age story, because she goes through such great character development. Like, if you want a coming of age story, for me, it has to have that, like, a good amount of character development through it. And I think some books fall very flat when it comes to that. But this book, she has so much character development. She learns so much, and the way she reacts to things at the beginning of the book is not at all the way she reacts to things by the end of the book, because she's gone through so much learning, and she's learned so much from these, like, other black and brown women that she's been involved with, and like learning to like come into her power and stand up for herself. And as you can hear, I really enjoyed it. So I'm very glad that I decided to have a little impromptu library trip, because it was well worth it. See, looks nice. And this pink with that black is nice as well. Then I read The Turnout by Meg Abbott. Look how pretty this cover is. It's so nice. So this one I found at Edgson's bookstore. Oh, I don't want to harm my Monstera adansonii. It's looking very beautiful. It's putting out new leaves like this, so I wanted to show it off. So The Turnout, it's a thriller set at a ballet school. Intriguing. That's what got me. So we're following, I remember the one sister's name, but I don't remember the other, Dara. So we're following Dara and Marie Durant. They have this ballet school that their mother started. And Charlie, Dara's husband, also helps them. He used to also perform at the school. They've known them since they were kids, and he is now married to Dara. And Marie's a very interesting character. I'm not quite sure why she is the way that she is, but she is a very odd character, and the tension between the characters, definitely between the two sisters, definitely shows that there's like a lot of history between them, especially because they lost their parents when they were like in their early 20s. But basically Marie has been staying at the ballet school, and she starts a fire by mistake, and it takes out one of their studios, and they're like, okay, we need to get in a contractor to do these repairs. So they get in this contractor, and right away Dara is like, I don't like this guy, like he's skeevy, he's trying really hard to like make the project bigger, you know, so that he can get as much money out of it as possible. He's always giving them paperwork to sign that he tries to get them to not read, which is really dodgy. But yes, he basically, Dara has got his number. Dara is like, I really don't like this man, but Marie gets obsessed with him, like absolutely obsessed, and starts to have a love affair with him. So, and he's very manipulative. So there's some certain things that he wants to do with their property, and he's very manipulative, and he's got a lot of control over Marie, and he's definitely trying to edge her into making some decisions that could benefit him. And it's really insidious, and building that tension. Most of the book is building that tension, that like, oh God, what is he going to do? This is the bad guy. And it builds up really slowly, and I was like, okay, this book is dragging a little bit. And then, just as I was thinking that, everything hits the fan. Oh my word. Like, it actually gets absolutely fucking wild at the end. And like, I was like, oh, that's the twist. Oh, hell yeah, that's a really good twist. And then I was like, oh no, wait, there's more twist. Like, oh my God, it was actually like really intense by the end, and I thought it was well executed. So I'm definitely going to give Meg Abbott another go when it comes to thrillers. You know, I'm always looking for new thriller authors that pique my interest, and this was definitely had me on tenterhooks. I did my first one. Nice. Okay, what did I read next? Then I read The Reading List by Sara Nisha Adams. Oh, this book was joyful. Like, apparently this book falls under friendship fiction, which I thought was such a lovely name for a genre. I didn't know that was a genre. That's what it says on Everand. Everand is what script is called now, by the way. And my mom had found it on Script. She just was reading through synopses of books that were recommended. And she found it and she gave her to read it. She was like, Ames, you need to read this. And I was like, okay, cool. And it was really nice because then I got to like message back and forth with her, being like, oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, this happened. And it's such a wonderful book. So it's all based around this library, which I think it's in Wimbledon or Wembley. I can't remember which one. So basically a suburb like on the outskirts of London. And so we're following two Indian main characters, and the audiobook is narrated by two different narrators. So you definitely like get their voice, which is really nice. So the first character is Alicia. She's not having a good time at home. She's like in her final year at school and it's her summer holidays. So she's had to get a job at the library, which she doesn't really enjoy because she doesn't like reading and she couldn't be bothered with people. And it's mostly because her life at home is quite hard. Her mom suffers from really bad depression and her brother are kind of just like the ones that are meant to keep things going. Their dad buggered off. So she's having to get a job because her mom can't earn money, and then her brother is constantly at work. It's just like a very stressful environment, and their home is like, it's not a sanctuary for them. And while she's working at the library, we get introduced to Mukesh. And Mukesh has lost his wife, and he found one of her library books, The Time Traveler's Wife, and he decides to read it, and he really likes it. So he's like, okay, maybe if I go to the library. So he went to the library and tried to get recommendations, but Alicia was having none of it, and she was being a grumpy bitch that day, which I can totally relate to. So she actually like starts feeling bad that she didn't recommend anything to this man, and she finds in one of the other readers' books, she finds a reading list that says just in case you need it, and it's got a list of really great books on it, like Pride and Prejudice and Beloved and The Kite Runner and Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, and things like that. So she starts reading the books from that list and then starts tentatively recommending them to Mukesh. As I said, Mukesh's wife has died. He's got 3 daughters that are constantly keeping up with him, and he has a granddaughter called Priya who's always got her head in a book, and he feels like he really wants to connect to her and to his wife who's died. So he goes to the library and he starts getting these recommendations, and slowly but surely this friendship develops between this like old man and this young woman who's having a lot of problems in her life. And it's just a beautiful connection. Like, there's some sad bits in here. Like, I really didn't expect it to get as sad as it did at one part. But it's just so beautifully written, and it's such a stunning book about how libraries bring around community and things like that. It made me really want to be a librarian. And I just thought it was absolutely perfectly written. I absolutely love this. If you love books about books, the reading list will be up your street. I've had the Turnout here the whole time. It's fine. I've probably covered it with with a graphic, so that's fine. Then lastly, I read Behold the Dreamers by Mbolo Mbue. So we're following Jende Jonga. That's his name? Yes. So what's his wife's name? Okay, so we're following Jende Jonga, and the beginning of the story starts with him interviewing to be a chauffeur with this rich man called Clark Edwards. And he has been trying to get asylum living in the US. Like, he doesn't technically have a reason for asylum. He's like had to make up reasons for it. Like, there's nothing happening with the Cameroonian government that he's like trying to escape or anything like that. He just wants a better life for himself in America. And he's very much a like staunch believer in the American dream, and like the America is this beautiful, untouchable place. And unfortunately, this book is set in 2008, so he is soon to see that America is not immune to things like what are they called? What is it called? Recessions. So he starts working for this guy Clark, and he does the normal things, taking his kids to and from stuff, taking his wife to work and back, taking Clark to work, and taking Clark to a hotel that he frequents often with a sex worker. And absolutely nothing wrong with frequenting a sex worker, but when you have a wife, that's not a good idea. So he's had to sign an NDA, and he sort of like gets embroiled in the details of this family, which gets more intense when his wife Nenny, who's pregnant, gets a job helping Clark's wife Cindy, who is kind of a really, really rich woman that's sort of spending her time doing a lot of prescription medication. So then the recession happens, and we're sort of shown, and at the same time as the recession happening, Jende's asylum papers get rejected. So it's weird because in the beginning, Nenny, his wife, is very much like skeptical of the American dream. She's studying while she's in America, and wants to become a pharmacist, but she's very skeptical, and she knows that America's not like all that. And Jende seems to be totally sold on it, but when the recession happens and the immigration stuff happens, he almost gets so downtrodden by things that he completely subverts his way of thinking. Like he's realizing that America is a very flawed place, at the same time as Nenny is sort of going above and beyond and doing everything she can to stay in America, basically. So it's kind of weird, they swap. But yeah, it's a very interesting depiction of these two families and the way something like this will affect both of those families, because obviously the recession and Jende losing his job, like it means that he has to like go and do dishwashing jobs in kitchens and do like 3 different jobs and be working until the wee hours of the morning and things like that, while Clark's wife is saying, oh, you know, the recession must be bad when people are selling their summer homes. So it was a really interesting depiction of exactly how an event like this affected different classes of people, and how difficult it is to establish yourself in America, I guess, and how sometimes actually it might be better at home. So yeah, I'm really glad I finally picked up something by Imbolo Mbue. I've wanted to read from her for a long time. And I just won't go in the stitch. Go in. That's what she said. Go. There we go. Okay. So yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for some of her backlist and any future books that come out, because her writing was awesome. And there we have it. That is all the books that I read. That is the last one of 2023. Oh my god. This is going to be going out like right after Christmas, right in that period between Christmas and New Year. So I hope you guys had a wonderful Christmas period. If you don't celebrate Christmas, just nice holidays in general. Like I'm not Christian or anything. Christmas is just like get together with family, eat and get presents. So that's kind of what it is, and like have a couple of days off, you know. So I hope you have nice relaxing holidays. As always, my social media is down below, my Instagram and my TikTok, along with my Kofi link, which is a little one-time tip jar. If you ever want to support my channel, it starts at $3. That would be a very nice Christmas present. But other than that, like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. And I'll see you in 2024.